It's a two-man job to bring us breakfast.
Oh my lord, that's like a cheese monster heaven, that is. We're off to Georgia. So apparently we're trying to find X-ray, but we're now going against all the lorries.
There's no arrows, follow the blue
There's
line.
no arrows, there's no signage.
Or follow the something.
And they don't tell you where to go, they just go on the right somewhere. We're Chris and Marianne, and we've been travelling full-time for the past 3 years. We did it! We're currently attempting to drive Trudy, our home on wheels, all the way around the world. Good morning. We've got furry friends already. So carrying on from yesterday, we got good news that our PCR tests are negative. And that means that today we are heading to Georgia.
With a dog.
Yes, as usual, we always put food and water out for the dogs and the cats. And we've always got a few little furry friends. Look at this guy. Good morning. Okay, so the plan is, I think before we go to Georgia, it might be a long day. You know what these border crossings are like sometimes, that I think we're gonna go and get a little bit of food. Bit of last Turkish breakfast before we head off into Georgia. So during our time in Trabzon, we're staying in a nearby town of
Akşebat,
There
which
you
is
go.
famous for its kofte, which we tried last time we were here.
Yeah, and there's a lovely little cafe here called Morenda Cafe, and we're going to go and have a little breakfast here.
And it's a nice meeting point. We've got some lovely friends here around Trabzon area, so it's nice for us to be here, and then everyone comes around to meet us and catch up, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's been a perfect spot. There's a little beach here which gets quite busy in the evening, and then this little car park here where Trudy's parked, surrounded by dogs. They keep us safe all night. The bad thing is that if anybody comes past, they bark.
Even if it's a cat or a pigeon, they protect us from the pigeon.
They do, and there's a pack of about 7 or 8 of them. Good night, Ian.
Wow.
There you go, look at that.
Look at that, the Black Sea coastline. Woo!
It's actually really nice sitting up here because the restaurant gets a really good breeze, and it's been so warm and humid the last week. So you may recognize this restaurant from last year, and we've come, they've only literally just opened, so there's nobody else here at the moment. But I love this sign. Isn't this just a lovely wall?
But Elif, the owner here, is so good at designing. It just is cool.
It's very cool. It's all cool. Look at the decor, it's so homely.
Oh, you have to show the cactus, my favourite.
Oh, this is Marianne. We sat here and had dinner last night, and this is Marianne's favourite bit. Does that not look like a cactus man? That is definitely the coolest cactus I've seen.
And this morning we have Ezra looking after us. Everybody's just incredibly welcoming. In fact, we were here last year, as we said before, and when we pulled up this year, they didn't know we were coming. Ezra spotted us across the car park and came running over going, welcome, which is incredible.
In fact, the staff here were on the intro from last year going, welcome to Turkey.
Welcome to Turkey!
The most important part of a Turkish breakfast? Turkish tea. Breakfast for 2.
It's a two-man job to bring us breakfast.
That's slightly worrying. Oh my lord. Look at that cheese. And what do you call this one?
Kuymak.
Kumak.
Kuymak, yes.
Oh, and it's made with cheese.
Cheese and flour.
Wow.
Oh. And
my
this
goodness.
is traditional from the Black Sea coast, right? From here. Look at that. Oh my lord. That's like a cheese monster heaven, that is. We've done lots of videos on Turkish breakfast, but every time I get one, I'm just impressed. I just love it. Sucuk, honey, it's just amazing. Olives, cheese, eggs, some pepper tomatoes, some gozleme, salad, bread, even chips, olives.
And included in the breakfast here in the Black Sea region, they have honeycomb. Now, it's very traditional to have honeycomb in your breakfast, your Turkish breakfast, but this is a specific honeycomb from the Black Sea region.
Oh, it looks amazing. Hold on, I've got to try it. Oh, that is so good.
In fact, we bought some yesterday and we have a secret stash in the van. Shh.
We're buying a little bit of honey.
And we love it. And the Black Sea region is famous for honeycomb. And a little bit of the runny stuff on the top. Look at that.
In fact, this is a perfect opportunity to thank Buy in Turkey for sponsoring today's video. In fact, they haven't just sponsored today's video, they've kindly said that they will donate 10% of all sales to our Sea Turtle Rescue Fund. Thanks, Buy in Turkey.
In fact, if you haven't heard of buyinturkey.com, they sell and ship internationally a wide variety of high-end Turkish products.
And talking of honey, Buy in Turkey have a seriously good range of honey for sale on their site. Like their organic chestnut honey, which is actually from this region of Turkey. What makes it special is the worker bees only collect the nectar from the chestnut trees, giving it a unique flavor and properties.
And sticking with a sweet tooth, if you love kunafe or if you want to try their beautiful baklava, just like the one they sent us a couple of months ago.
But they don't just sell food products, they sell lots of other Turkish products. So if you want to experience a bit of Turkey wherever you are in the world, then to get started, click the link in the description below. And by using the code TREADTHEGLOBE, you'll know that you'll be donating 10% of all sales to our amazing Sea Turtle Rescue Fund. Thank you very much. Time to eat. Okay, Marianne's getting her cheese fix. How is that?
This is not my first forkful. It is delicious. As a cheese connoisseur and monster, I can tell you this is lush.
And I have to say that while I was busy filming the advert, Marianne was sneakily eating that in the background. So after that amazing breakfast and eating far too much, we're off to Georgia. The drive today to Batumi is about 3.5 hours, and it's about 2.5 hours to the border with Georgia. How exciting! We're crossing a new border in Trudy. So we just stopped off for fuel, getting the windscreen cleaned up, just to make sure the videos are looking good for you guys. Just past all the nuts, all the hazelnuts drying on the side of the road, because this is the nut region of Turkey. I literally just love how they pile them up on the side of the road. Thousands and thousands of hazelnuts. So we spent a lot of time here last summer. We did this region around Rize and Trabzon, and wonderful mountains, and we did a couple of trips up into the mountains. In fact, if you missed the video on the Tea Road going up to see the tea in the mountains, you should definitely check it out. Possibly some of the scariest roads we've been on since we've been in Turkey. And would you do it again? No, go check the video. So we're just stopping off because we just spotted some water by the side of the road.
What's really cool is it's actually got cups on chains, and I said, can I have some water? And he was like, just...
Okay, let's fill up. We're gonna have to pass it through the window, I think, because we're very close to the main road and the cars are coming a bit close. Good water pressure. Okay, I'll go get some more.
I'm just putting the cushions back. I'm not really sure what's happened to Chris. He just said, hold on a minute. And he went off with the man. I don't know what he's done. what they're doing.
He got me picking some fruit.
Ah.
And I thought he wanted me to pick them for him off the high branches, but he gave me he said they were for us. So I picked loads because I thought they were for him.
Oh. Yep. Some people have messaged to say Turkish people can't be that nice. They really are.
They really are. This region of Turkey is the tea growing region, and these bushes by the side of the road are tea. So we're just going through the city of Rize on the way to Georgia this morning.
It's funny, isn't it? It's just that, yeah, we're just going to drive to Georgia today.
Doesn't sound right, does it?
Our life is crazy.
It's been a while since we drove Trudy over a border outside of the EU. In fact, this will be the first border outside of the EU other than Turkey.
It's true.
Exciting! What's funny is when we came down this road last year, we should have been carrying on and going to Russia and carrying on. And it feels funny to think that we're just, you know, we're so close to carrying on, but we're not yet. It's kind of like teasing us. When we popped into Georgia for the driving license stamp a month or so ago, bless you. Çok yaşa. Many of our Turkish followers were like, oh no, you're leaving Turkey, and you sent us so many messages. So just for clarification, we're going into Georgia for about 3 weeks, and then we'll be back into Turkey. And we will carry on putting the Turkish subtitles on the videos we make in Georgia for you, so don't worry. This coastline is getting more and more picturesque as we go north. See all the buildings with the mountains and the clouds in the background, and lots of green trees and tea in the distance.
I did say to Chris that some people will look at all the colourful buildings and think it's just a bunch of concrete blocks behind, in front of some green trees. But that's why I love Chris, because he's like, they're so beautiful and it's nature and trees.
But you don't get views like this back home, so for me it's amazing. One of the bits of advice we got from a fellow overlander was that get the insurance for your vehicle to Georgia before you actually arrive on the border, because if you buy it on the border it's very expensive. So we actually processed our insurance online last night, and we did it for a month, and it was €100.
Thank you very much, Tutu.
Looking online to go into Georgia during these COVID times, we've got 2 vaccinations, and we've had a negative PCR test, which means that we should be able to go in without any problem. If you haven't had the 2 vaccinations, then you need to register online before you arrive at the border or at the airport, and you have to have another PCR test, I think 3 days after you arrive in Georgia. So hopefully today's border crossing is smooth. So looking at all these lorries, I reckon we must be pretty close to the border. Wouldn't want to be queuing in a lorry with all those. There's mile after mile of lorries.
There's a lot of lorries.
There are a lot of lorries. Well, the road's cleared up again, so I'm not sure. I think they must have been going into some sort of checks or customs check before the border.
I think they're all there because you can't slow down here, but over there was actually a road.
They got a rest stop maybe before on a way station.
And there was like a weighing checkpoint station.
So we're still not at the border, we're just coming into another another town here. And the queue of lorries has started again. I think we got about 4 miles to the border. We're just arriving at the border. Okay, so we've just cleared Turkish passport control and we're just going through customs now. Okay, so we just got to the barrier and he said computer car go. So I'm not sure what that means, but I think it means we have to come back here for something, but I don't know. So we've just come back. It's always very confusing, isn't it? So Marianne's just going. That's a duty-free shop, so it must be a little bit further down there. I'm not sure. It's X-ray.
We need to go to X-ray.
Where's X-ray?
Over there.
Oh, he didn't say that. He said over there.
I know.
I love it.
He said on the right.
So apparently we're trying to find X-ray, but we're now going against all the lorries. I love border crossing. That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Actually, we haven't had one smooth crossing yet, I don't think. Is that X-ray?
I think so.
I think that must be X-ray. Let's go and have a look. Okay, it's not here. So he says it's in the next building, but we can't get out that way because there's a truck. So we're going to try and reverse over the hole. You need me to see you back? Or are you good?
I think I'm okay. There's no arrows. Follow the blue
There's
line.
no arrows. There's no signage.
Or follow the something.
And they don't tell you where to go. They just go on the right somewhere. So now we're going round to the next building.
So from what I understand,
In there. Is that the entrance or the exit? Okay, we found the X-ray building. It does actually have a big sign saying X-ray on it.
Are you being secretive?
We're in the X-ray machine. There's a big hangar with a massive X-ray over us.
If there's anybody from customs listening, if you make it simple and do a green line, a red line, a blue line and a yellow line,
It will be a lot easier.
Yeah, then just tell the crazy tourist to follow whichever line you want them to go to. Makes it much simpler and all the arrows will go in one direction.
Okay, X-ray done. They did make us get out of the vehicle for our own safety and ask us whether we had any pets, so all good. Okay, back to Turkish customs. Okay, so this is becoming slightly comical. We've come back to customs and they've got computer problems now, so they're sending us back to where we came from.
Number one,
to
wherever
number one
is.
Wherever number one is.
So it's just getting the traffic to reverse.
Because there's cars behind us. Okay.
Maybe they just don't ever want us to leave.
They love us so much. Okay, 10 minutes later, what happened?
So he sent me to number one. There isn't number one.
Really?
So I went up to the guy who, in fact, I went up to a group of people and said, problem, caravan problem. And so they were like, oh. So then the guy who helped me originally came to get me. So anyway, he's done something with my paperwork for Trudy. Trudy was the problem, but she's not now. So I'm going to go and say to him, problem yoke problem. So they were all laughing at me.
Okay, we've officially left Turkey and now we're going into Georgia. We were under the impression, looking at the Georgian government website, that if you've had 2 vaccines you don't need to register online, but in fact you do. So we've just done that and now we're queuing up to get into Georgia. Okay, after about half an hour later, we've arrived in Georgia. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below. And make sure you join us on the next episode as we arrive in the Georgian city of Batumi.